Hello there, yes, it's the weekend. It's a bit damp to a certain extent. Anyway, today we'll return to the less than edifying spectacle that is Connor Tomlinson of the Lotus Eaters. Yet another one of those grifters that's kind of like a safe pair of hands. It's just such a shame that he spouts such absolute drivel. If you look at his Twitter feed, it is all stuff that he was doing for the Lotus Eaters. Don't look at the Lotus Eaters. It's very, very misogynistic, racist drivel, effectively, because the audience is very young white Americans in their mum's bedroom plotting to become Nazis. Effectively, that's where the revenues come from. So that's their entire stance. And whenever he actually does appear on something, he has to pretend that he knows what he's talking about, and it's patently obvious that he isn't. Let's watch him in action on GB News, just here.
Still massively over the 2% target. Connor, what do you make to it all?
I'm kind of sick of the discourse of it because, one, most people don't know what inflation actually means because the government has misled them into thinking it means price rises, when no, it's actually the rate of change based on the amount of money that's in the system. And the reason that inflation's gotten worse is because they injected lots and lots of money in the system, and at the same time as doing the interest rate hikes, the Bank of England is the only bank in the world that's also trying to sell off its bonds, so it's playing a really risky strategy, considering we're so reliant on the American and Chinese economies as well. And
yes, well, there you go. Him pontificating on inflation. Problem is, people don't know what inflation is. No, mate, the problem is you don't know what inflation is. Inflation, succinctly put, is prices going up. It's built into capitalism. It's one of the reasons we have that 2% target. Those of you that have done history of Germany will undoubtedly have come across the hyperinflation in the early 20s in Germany, and it becomes a kind of shibboleth, this idea that you can't just print money. Well, Germany couldn't print money for a very particular set of reasons to do with the Versailles Treaty and people's belief that they wouldn't be able to pay the money back. That's what devalued the currency. Now, Connor is talking about printing money, which we've been doing at a vast level, QE, etc., since 2008. You may notice that you can't really make an argument that you're going to get inflation 15 years after you've printed some money. That doesn't make any sense, Connor. And it's not actually true. Speak to any modern economist, even those on the right. They've kind of debunked that kind of stuff. But Connor isn't playing to that audience. He has to pretend that the kind of neo-Thatcherite view is the correct one. And, just to go further, I don't know, Connor, I just find him rather a sad character. Aside from the kind of, sort of the man desperately in need of a wife. Look at the Lotus Eaters and his Twitter feed for that. But he says that men should be wearing more suits, and I would agree with him. However, Connor, I wouldn't be wearing those suits, mate. You can wear a suit and look quite good for a number of different, reasons, or number of different places you might be going. I would wear this to a party, and I would wear this to a funeral. There we go. I don't know, mate, just, invest in a decent suit. I would therefore agree with you just on that one thing, but no others. I would also suggest that you read some very, very, very basic books about economics, because inflation isn't necessarily caused by printing money. It's a bit more complicated. I'm not prepared to sort of explain it to you. You can do some reading for a change. Might help, mate.